I want to ask you a little bit about Logan Day. I mean, he jumped into the lineup, was pretty good offensively last year. What allowed him, given that he kind of had an interesting journey to pro hockey, to be so productive?
Well, number one, what a great story for the organization to find this player. He's a real diamond in the rough. He came out of Division III hockey, and he had a little bit of a cup of coffee the year before in Bakersfield at the end of the year, showed well, left a good impression, and last year I didn't know what to expect from him going into the regular season. He impressed in main camp last year and just kept finding a way to get into the lineup, and a real unique skill set. I think he's a very instinctual type of player. His pedigree's not what everyone else in camps is, but that's what I think makes him special. He just goes out and plays. Last year for us in Bakersfield, he made us a faster team. He moved pucks. He joined the rush. He led our defense in scoring. He was good on the power play. And what was unique about him is because he's such an instinctual player, when we got in trouble with guys being up with the big team and injuries down below, and we were running out of bodies up front, we actually played Logan up front. So he had the skill and ability to go play and not only take a shift, but he was a good player for us up front. I think it's just he's a fantastic kid. He's got a great way about him. He was a sponge. He took a step, and because of the year he had in Bakersfield, he earned himself an NHL contract. And so far, through 2 days in rookie camp, he's done quite well.
What is Marody? I asked him, what's the thing that pisses him off most? But he says, they keep saying I'm not fast enough. I had to work on my skating. Like, do you notice it, or he's obviously good enough in the American League?
Yeah, I think at our level in the American Hockey League, he finds ways to create time and space. And while he's not maybe not the traditional speedster who zips up and down the rink or darts in and out, he has a way about him where he makes plays. I've seen him take numerous good players on one-on-one and beat them. He does a nice job of keeping the puck away from his body. He's got real long arms and has a long stick. And he's got a very low panic point with the puck. So he finds a way to make plays. He did it at our level at a very impressive clip when you think of points per game. I think he's ethereal. He thinks the game. And one thing we always talked about down there was that speed or pace isn't just with your feet. It's with your decision making. It's with understanding where to be, and I think that's a real skill for Cooper. I know this too. He put a lot of hard work into his body this summer and has done an excellent job with his fitness testing, and he looks real good out there.
Jay, he's a hard part for a guy that might be more defensive work in his end of the ice against NHL players as a center.
Yeah.
If there's 50-50 pucks or playing off somebody defensively in his own end. The NHL, you have to get a little closer to your guy. Would that be some things?
I think it was an area or a focal point for us last year in Bakersfield to improve his 200-foot game. There were numerous teachable moments, especially early in the season, and as a coach, for me, that presented an opportunity to mention exactly what you just said, which is can he defend a big body in the NHL? And that was an area that we wanted to tighten up for him. He put a lot of effort into it. And not only did he put up impressive point statistics, but if you look at his plus-minus statistic, I think he was plus 31 on the year. I mean, that's pretty impressive for a young man playing his first year of professional hockey. Those were great numbers, and it wasn't just a product of the offensive numbers. It's how he played the entire 200 feet of the rink.
As a right shot center, is he good enough on faceoffs?
He improved them during the year. I'm anxious to see him here in training camp, not only rookie camp, but in training camp against men. He'll show us.
Jay, just a couple more questions on Cooper Marody. When talking about a successful year last year, he attributed you and the coaching staff and attention to detail. Now, he's always kind of emulated that attention to detail. Is that his best quality as a hockey player?
Yeah, I think he's a coachable coachable player. So, and he's not just one who just is a robot and does exactly what the coach says and the coach drew this on the diagram. He makes things work for him within the structure of the team. And he's a unique person. He's his own person. And he has ideas too, and he's not afraid to come up and share them. And I think as a coaching staff, we allowed him to be himself within the framework of the team. We were accepting of some of his thoughts because ultimately he's the guy who goes out and executes. And, you know, I was very happy with his first professional hockey season. That said, I'm anxious to see what he brings. That was last year. I'm anxious to see what he brings to these rookie games here, and as he progresses towards main camp. I think it's been well noted that there are positions open with the big club. So he gets an opportunity each day to show what he has, and I think he's, based on the work he put in the summertime, I think he's ready for the opportunity.
If a player gets a point a game in the American League as an offensive player, does that translate more to, okay, at the NHL level, we know he's a point-a-game player. So he's not a 35-point player in the American League. He's 64. So at the NHL level, maybe he only gets 40, but he's got the ability to at least get that.
Well, I think what he is, he represents an ingredient that he has the ability to play with good players because he can think at a high level. He has good skills. With the puck. We talked about whether he could defend NHL bodies at NHL pace. He's going to get the opportunity to show us that. I think, you know, for him, he's looking to come in and build on what he laid down last year. And for him, that would be more NHL games to try and take advantage of the opportunity that's before not only him, but before a lot of guys in main camp, which is there are positions open in the forward grouping, and he's looking to seize one of them. He'll show everybody that he wants to take somebody's job.
Jay, just for a guy like Ostap Safin, you can see the injuries that he was dealing with last year. What do you want to see from a guy like that who was hampered for most of the season last year?
Yeah, well, it's my first time really being around Ostap. Last year he missed rookie camp. He was injured, and I think when you look at him as a player, he's got size. He has a good level of skill. For him, you know, we want him to get him up and running so he's feeling good to start his season. I think the first 2 days in training camp, we don't want to overload him with too much. We just want him to come out and be who he is and show why he's here. And with that body type and his skill level, if he just goes out and plays, I'm sure he'll show us what he's got.
When some players make the jump from junior to the American League, they really struggle with that adjustment. Other guys like Tyler Benson, it's almost seamless.
Yeah.
They're all good players. That a lot of them have size. Is there a trait that makes the jump easier for some than others? Is it confidence?
Yeah, I think, but confidence is earned, right?
Yeah.
So that's something we would say in Bakersfield, that you earn the right to feel confident. It comes from the work you put in the summertime. It comes from your daily process, how you take care of yourself away from the rink, how professional you are in your work habits. And for us in Bakersfield, we wanted to establish that type of culture where I mean, let's face it, we want to produce players that when they get to the NHL, they stay for years, not for games or for weeks. And to do that, we want to help them lay a personal foundation and make sure they're professional in all ways. And I think when players step out of junior, it is a big adjustment. The ones that have the greatest success are the ones that are able to build that personal foundation the quickest. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jay, going back to Ostap and his situation, I know you said this is really your first time being around him, but what's your experience from a coach's perspective in seeing players who are ultra competitive who can't really compete every night due to injury?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to feel good about himself that he's in a position to compete now. You know, he had a summer of training. It's his first professional hockey season here that he's gearing up towards. I think he showed fairly well here in the first 2 days, but ultimately he gets an opportunity to show it. Anytime a player's been injured and they're fully recovered, you got to feel good about just the daily opportunity to show what you got, and you know, I think he's in a good headspace for that.
Three goalies, 2 games. Do you know how you're going to divide it?
Yeah, we're going to sit down with our goalie department, with Dustin Schwartz and Sylvain Rodrigue in conjunction with our management and see how we'll divvy that up. But all three of them expect to see some action for sure.
Do you know which one of the Wells or Skinner is the better backup in the American League yet? I mean, obviously Starrett's the starter, but how do you know?
I would say that we have full confidence in the three goalies, Starrett, Wells, Skinner, and we've proved that because we used all three in a second round of a playoff series because we're confident in them. I think all three of them at different times last year gave us great minutes at key moments. Dylan Wells made the Condors out of camp. He went down and won 10 games in a row in the East Coast League, came up and gave us a shot in the arm when we needed it. Stuart Skinner at different times won hard games and tough buildings on the road and really took a step in his personal development. Shane Starrett, you look at his story from last season, I mean, he didn't get into his first action until November. For us, and he sees the net, he sees the opportunity. He ended up being one of the save percentage leaders and goals against leaders in the American Hockey League, ended up being an American Hockey League All-Star. I think it's a real source of strength for our team. I think I'm anxious to see their main camps here, their rookie camps for Dylan and for Stuart, and whoever makes their way down to Bakersfield comes the end of September. I'm anxious to see who wants to seize the net, and at the end of the day, they're going to show us.
Benson, we're finally seeing who Benson really is back to, when he was a kid. They kind of expected him to be where he is right now. Is there a next level for him now that he's finally got some traction?
Yeah, he's got to feel real good about a few things. Number one, the fact that he was healthy for most of last year, or for the entire year. I mean, he played through bumps and bruises, but he was healthy. He put in a great summer last summer, and he reaped the benefits. We talked about earning the right to feel confident. That's a kid who put in the work in order to feel confident. And when he felt confident, his natural skills and natural abilities came out. His numbers speak for themselves. What I like about him is that there was personal growth in his game as well. I mean, we talked about Marody's overall game, but in Benson's overall game, he was a huge plus as well. I felt completely comfortable putting those kids on the ice against anybody. For him, he had another great summer. You look at him out here, he looks fantastic. I think just like a lot of the other forwards that are going to compete to make the Edmonton Oilers, he's got to feel real good about his opportunity. And like I said, our focus as a rookie camp team here is to set these guys up for success as they move into main camp. And the way you do that is by maximizing your daily opportunity.
Is he always going to be a playmaking winger?
Yeah, I think he sees the ice great.
As opposed to a shooting winger?
Yeah, but you know what, Matty, I'd say he went a very healthy chunk of games with not scoring last year. And what I liked about it was he worked his way out of that situation. And he worked his way out of it at that level. So now he has a foundation of how to overcome some personal adversity of not scoring a goal for a certain length of games. And then the second half of the season, he shot the puck a lot more. He was a lot more of a threat. I wouldn't underestimate anything when it comes to Tyler. He puts the work in. He has the skills. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings.